Hello all, welcome to my YouTube channel. So in today's video we are going to discuss about managed identities for Azure resources. So we are going to see what is managed identities, what is the purpose of managed identities and why we should consider managed identities while developing any kind of software applications. And later we will see a live demo where I will use a ASP.NET Core application and I will try to fetch a secret from Azure Key Vault using managed identities. So let's start. So common challenges for developer is the management of secrets. For example, I am developing a application which require a Azure SQL database connections. So to provide the connection from a local system to Azure SQL database, I need some kind of authentication system. So for example, every time when I need when I've made some changes in my code and I need to test that particular to code, and that code is also required a DB connection. So for that basically I have to store the credentials in my local system. So again, this is not a best practice to store any kind of credentials in your local system. So to avoid basically that particular secret management issues or risk of any leakage, we use managed identities. So managed identities for Azure resources are a feature that provide Azure services with an automatically managed identity in Azure Active Directory. This identity can be used to authenticate and access resources that support Azure AD authentication. So we have to keep in mind what all the services which supports Azure AD authentication, that services only can use managed identities. Rest, if suppose any of the services is not supporting Azure AD authentication, then in that case basically we cannot use managed identities. Let's see types of managed identities. So basically there are two kinds of managed identity which Microsoft provides us. So the very first is system assigned managed identities. So suppose I'm, for example, I have created a virtual machine, and from inside the virtual machine I have enabled the system assigned managed identity options. Then everything, the rotation of your token or secrets, everything will be performed by Microsoft. You should not you have to just use that managed identity, and Microsoft will do rest all the things. So and also if you are going to delete that virtual machine, then the system assigned managed identity is also will also be deleted. So whenever you are choosing the identities, you have to keep in mind which one you have to choose. So system assigned basically completely managed by Microsoft, and as soon as you delete the resources, that identity, system assigned identity will be gone. And second is user assigned managed identity, where basically end user will create a user managed identity, and that particular managed identity he can use in multiple resources, in multiple services. Because this is not managed by Microsoft, you have to manage this managed identity. So you have the choice. Suppose you have created one user assigned managed identity and you want to use the same identity for multiple resources, that you can do that. But in case of system assigned managed identity, you should not have that privilege to use that particular identity for multiple services, because it's basically a resource specific. So I hope it's clear. Two types of managed identity: use system assigned and user assigned. So in our demo, we will see a user assigned managed identity demo. Let's see the benefits of using managed identity. So first thing, no need to manage credentials. So Azure handle the identities lifecycle automatically, including credential rotation. Second is improved security. Obviously, if you are not storing any kind of credentials in your application code, then it enhance the security also for your application. Third, we have easy of use. It means managed identities can easily be enabled for Azure services without requiring any additional configuration. So you have to just, so for example, uh, you have created a virtual machine, you just go to the identity option from the setting tabs and you just enable the identity. It's up to you. You want resource specific, or you want to create identity which can be utilized for multiple resources. So these are the benefits, few benefits I have mentioned here. uh, which tell us using a managed identity is a great option for your application. Let's see few use cases where we can use micromanaged identities. So accessing Azure Key Vault using managed identity is a secure way to retrieve secrets without needing to store keys or credentials in your application code. So this is what we are going to see in our demo, the use case first. Second, accessing Azure resources like databases or a storage account without embedding credentials in your code. So basically, wherever you are using any kind of credentials for like DB, storage, and that's because we also know these sub services support Azure AD authentication. In that case, we should consider managed identities instead of service principal. I will create a separate video on service principal as well. Now let me quickly move to a demo. So the first thing what I will do, so the first thing I will create a user assigned managed identity. And second thing what I will do, I will create a Azure Key Vault where I will create a secret. So let me quickly create a managed identity first. So here basically from managed identities, you can only create user assigned managed identities. System assigned managed identity you cannot create. That Microsoft will create for you in a backend as soon as you enable for any particular resources. So let me choose my resource group demo, and the reason I will choose Central India, and let me give a name demo, sorry, demo user assigned managed identity, and I'll simply click review and create. So this will take a couple of minutes. Okay, so you can see a deployment is succeeded. It means we have created a system, sorry, user assigned managed identities. Now the next thing what I have to do, I have to create a Azure Key Vault here. So let me choose create, and again I will choose my resource group demo, and I will keep a name demo Key Vault. So this name should be unique. Let me put some numbers here. Okay, so it's taken. Reason I will choose my Central India, and pricing tier I will leave everything default here. Now in access configuration, what I will do, I will choose vault access policies. So here I will create a new access policy, and I will choose template from here secret management, and here we can provide the permission, what kind of permission you want, get, list, set, all those things, like based on your requirement you can choose that options. In next things here basically we will select our system assigned, sorry, user assigned managed identity which we have created, because we want that particular identity should have access on Key Vault, then only we can utilize the managed identity in our application. So let me search the name demo. So this is the name which we have chosen for our managed identity. So let me choose it, and I will hit and review and create. So next all the things I will leave default. I don't want any changes on networking part. So let me quickly click on review and create. Okay, so deployment is completed. Let me go to resources. So what we did till now, we have created a user assigned managed identity, and we assigned that identity to Azure Key Vault. So we performed two tasks till now. The next thing what I will do, I need to create a secret here. So I'll go to objects secrets, because this, the secret which we are going to create here, this particular secrets, we are going to fetch the value of this secret from our application code. So let me click on generate. Let me put it name demo, and value I will put 1 2 3 4 5 6, and I'll hit on create. Okay, so we have created a secret as well. Now let me go to my Visual Studio. So here I have already a sample ASP.NET Core application. So I'll just open it. Okay. So if you don't have, just simply what you have to do, you have to click on file, new project. Let me just show you quickly. Uh, So here you can choose a template, whatever you want to create. So for example, I have chosen ASP.NET Core Web API. So these are the templates which you can use for demo purpose. So once you create this particular project, you have to include a few libraries or few NuGet packages, uh, which is required basically for to access the Azure cloud and the Key Vault. So what I have did basically, if I'll go to my CS project file, so you can see Azure.identity and security.keyvault.secret. So these are the two libraries basically I'm using in my application. So this is required for connectivity and for fetching the credentials from the Key Vault. And the next thing, if I'll go to my program.cs file, so you can see this is very simple program.cs file. So here basically I have used those libraries, those NuGet packages which I have installed in my project. So this is the key identity and the second is keyword.secret. So these two libraries I am using in my program.cs file. And you can see here basically I am providing the key vault URL. So this should not be hard coded. You can create a variable for this. Like this is the I'm testing this in my local system. If you are using Azure DevOps and all, then you can use your variables, and during the your pipeline, then you can replace the value. So let me quickly change the key vault here, because we have something different URL here. So I'll just change the name here. And the next thing here, you can fetch the secrets from key vault. So here you have to provide the key of your secret which you have created. So I have provided the name, I think demo. So demo is the name of my secret. So this I have provided here. So what I am going to get in return, the value of this particular secret which we have created. Let me just quickly save it, and now I will run over my application. Okay, I think it's open somewhere in backend. Let me quickly check. Okay, it's opening. So you can see the value of secret which we provided 1 2 3 4 5 6. So this is the value of my secret. It's working fine. It means, and you can see here I have not used any what uh, what is called the user assigned managed identity which we have created. That particular things I have not used here. Why? And without that, how it's working, you can see I have chosen here default Azure credentials. So it means the service account, because I have logged in this Visual Studio account from my same account which I have access on my Azure cloud. That's why it's not asking for any authentication system authentication process. If you face any issues here during your local testing, then what you can do, you have to go to your environment variables. So here I'll go to advanced system settings. So here you can see Azure Client ID and tenant ID. Tenant ID is the directory where you have subscription, and this is the client ID. Client ID is the basically user assigned managed identity value. So if I'll just quickly go to my Azure cloud here. So let me go to manage identities. So here you have to provide this client ID value. This is the value basically you have to use in environment variable if you are facing any authentication issues. You can see this value is something different, and here I have different value because I have logged in Visual Studio from my same account which has access on Azure cloud. If you are running or if you are deploying your application in Azure app or Azure virtual machine, then you should not need any kind of client ID. Microsoft will automatically handle. How basically it will handle? Suppose you have two user assigned managed identity. In that case, how basically your application or Azure will know you have to use that particular. So basically, Azure automatically prioritize which user assigned managed identity you have to use based on some algorithm in backend. So suppose two user assigned identities, I have access on the same Azure Key Vault. It will automatically prioritize which one it should pick. So that also I will create a video, maybe next video I will make how we can use default Azure credentials thing in our app service. Like this is I'm running in my local system, and the same code, without changing anything in your application, you can run this particular code in any of the system without storing any kind of secrets. But if you face any authentication issues in your system when while you are doing testing, then you have to keep in mind you have to create a two environment variables, one for your tenant ID and one for your client ID, where basically you will provide the ID of your client ID. This value you will provide here, and you will not see any kind of authentication issues. So I hope it's clear how basically Azure user assigned managed identity work and system assigned managed identities. If I'll just show you quickly, let me go to my Azure Key Vault. Key Vault, I don't think so it will have. Let me quickly see if that service have identity options. Okay, so here we don't have. If I'll go back to my storage account, so basically you have to create a storage account, then you have to go to identity option, identity tab you will get. From there you have two options, system assigned or user assigned. If you are using system assigned, there is no configuration required. If you are using user assigned managed identity, then you have to create a user identity first, then you can choose that particular identity in any of the Azure services which you are using. So I hope it's clear. That's all for today. See you next video. Thank you so much.